As Americans, we should all be proud, in my opinion, of the DOE's incredible accomplishments. But as you say, China is in the process of catching up. In your opinion, Dr. Schmidt, what would it mean for U.S. leadership in science and technology should China pull ahead of our exascale efforts and our high-performance computing efforts in general?
So high-performance computing in general, of which exascale computing is an example, is crucial for energy and also for national security, especially nuclear. Much of this research has enabled our nuclear leadership and our defense posture, and again, there's much classified work on this. China has focused on what you have called exascale computing for more than a decade. There have been a number of times when their computers have been significantly faster than ours. Again, it's a race. So once you understand it's a race, we have to win this, and we have to continue to win it. If we stopped this, we would stop being able to model both the national security aspects of this, as well as new innovations in renewable energy, traditional energy, new materials. There's so many things that are related to the computation that the DOE is funding. I cannot emphasize this enough.
Right, especially the new materials. And I'm glad to hear you say nuclear as well.
Yeah.
Our bill, the Securing American Leadership in Science and Technology Act, would authorize critical investments in DOE's advanced scientific computing programs. It would more than double funding for the department's activities in that area by the year 2029. In your opinion, in what ways can we facilitate collaboration with American industry? You came from industry, right? To maximize our return on this investment. How do we do that?
Well, much of that is going to happen through the President's initiatives to modernize the nuclear infrastructure, which I'm familiar with, and I'm sure you are as well. And so I think focusing on getting that right. The newest strategy in manufacturing is called basically digital twinning. And what you do is you build a computer model that's a digital simulation of the physical thing you're building, changing the way we build things, and I'm talking about as a national security level as well as in the commercial sector, so that we can simulate them using these powerful computing resources that you're describing, allows us to have more reliable outcomes, more predictable outcomes when we actually build them. This is crucial in the nuclear area because we can't test these things because of all sorts of treaties.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I recognize in your, I think, discussion with Dr. Babman, you all talked about the 5G network. I think you said something to the effect that we don't have a competitor or an actor large enough to do this. Is that what you said?
The primary suppliers are Ericsson, Nokia, and Samsung. And I would love to see an American set of startups, U.S. startups. There's plenty of interesting ideas that could come. And I think the easiest way for that to happen is to say to them, there's going to be lots of spectrum, there's going to be lots of competitors. The 5G revolution is coming, and it's going to be led in America and not in China.
So you say there's going to be lots of spectrum. You may or may not be aware that the FEC has talked about auctioning off some bandwidth. Are you familiar with that?
I am, and I've spent a lot of time on this.
The highway departments have raised an issue about that. What can you tell us from your perspective about that?
So there's a technology that's been around for about 10 years called sharing. And as scientists, we believe that the various objections can be addressed by sharing the technology where the government has priority. And this technology is relatively new and we think very powerful.
So if they sell off or auction off part of that spectrum, does that mean less spectrum available for competition?
Well, the government has for the last 20 years been auctioning spectrum as a property right. That's essentially selling the highway to the truck operators. It would be better to have the highway be shared among the truck operators and the car operators and so forth. And we think technologically sharing is the future.
Okay, thank you for that, Madam Chair. I yield back.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bonamici.
Thank you to the chair and ranking member, and thank you to the witnesses.